Hey folks, Jer here for the match view after a game. I don't normally do these, or don't do an awful lot of these, but just there was a lot to unpack today, and a lot to talk about. I hope everyone's having a good weekend. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on the game. Just keep an eye on my phone as well, see what's happening. Javi Garcia's press conference has just finished. So, how do we feel? What's the sentiment? I kind of felt myself going into this game that 4 points from the next two games would be a good result. We were kind of hoping for the 3 points at home. It means we need to get 3 points away to Wolves. The results haven't all gone our way, but it's not all doom and gloom, and it's not all the end of the world. There's some positives there, even though we have dropped to 19th and second from bottom. There's now Leicester, West Ham, and Nottingham Forest now with all back in the mix. Only a point between us and West Ham and Leicester, 3 points to Nottingham Forest. Everton, Bournemouth have moved out. Liverpool, what are you doing, Liverpool? What are you at? Crazy day. Who have we got in chat? We're going to do chat today. So if you're not into chat, I'm sorry, but we're going to do chat today. We got away with that one. I think we might have done, Eddie. I think we might have done. Hello, James. You will get to Jackie. Lineup was bad in my opinion. Garcia got away with it due to Harrison and Bamford scoring. Bit for me, I'm sick of seeing the same week in, week out. Yeah, we'll talk about that a bit more, Matt. But yeah, 1 point is better than nout. Annie, it is. It really is. I'm finding it frustrating. It's a frustrating performance, and I know the reasons why. We'll get into that in a bit more detail. And we'll try and unpack what we actually watched. I noticed a lot of the frustration in the first half came after we conceded this new, I suppose you call it a passive press. Is that a press if it's passive? I don't know. There's loads more people popping in. How are you doing? Yeah, this passive press. I get why we're set up that way. I get why we're set up, but I think we'll go through that in a bit more detail as well. We'll talk about the press a bit and why we're doing it. But I suppose start from the start, and as the game is over, start to start and we'll go to the end. A point is not a bad result considering how that game went. And we did have chances defending. We're back to conceding 2 goals a game, but there's a lot of positives, but there's also a lot of stuff that's frustrating and niggling week in, week out. That's becoming the kind of, there's repetition there, and some of the stuff that we're watching. Team sheet is an example for that. Certain players in the team as well. We'll talk about that as well. We're going to have a little chat. I haven't talked to anyone in chat in ages, so we're going to have a proper chat. I seem to upset people this week, so I'm sorry about that. That was the case. So where we go. We've already said about Matt at the lineup. Yeah, who we got? Napper, how's it going, mate? Sporting Leeds makes weekends feel like weekdays. Dude, I had loads of hair before I started supporting Leeds. Now look at me. Jack, a lot of abuse online today. So wrong, too long. Abuse is always wrong. Criticism, not so much. But abuse, yeah, I didn't think Jack had a great game. He gets away with a goal. We'll get to that. 1 point better than now, as Eddie has already said. Annie has already said correct. Couldn't be more typical of Jackie, correct. As Leeds United going to survive the season, I really don't know. And I'm worried. I am worried. Still positive. Still need to be sorted. Yeah, exactly. And hello, Mick. How are you doing? Duncan, how's it going, mate? Paul, good point. The Seagulls have quality players. They're a good side. That's the most important thing to start off with here. Is Brighton are a very good side. They're not in the top 10 for no reason. They're pushing for Europe. They've got a good manager who plays an attractive, good style of football. Patient in their build-up. To keep the ball well. A lot of good stuff there. So, yeah, I mean, yeah. Disappointing starting 11 already had me scratching my head too. I don't know, Chris, if we can say we're toothless after scoring 2 goals. That's not toothless. I get what you're saying. We waste a lot of good opportunities in the final third. I think toothless is probably a bit harsh at the moment. We are scoring again, but we are conceding, and that's been the problem for Leeds all season. The biggest problem, I've said this tons of times this year, is that Leeds can play one of 2 ways. We can play a low block like we did against Newcastle and against Man United to a degree, and we can sit in and get a point. It's not attractive. It's not fun to watch, and we won't score. However, we can play slightly more attacking and go for it, and we can score goals, but we will always ship 2 goals at the back, and that's what happened today. So I understand where you're coming from, mate. It is a bit frustrating watching us in the final third. Nerves shredded. We need to win the next game against Wolves. Everton winning again. Yeah, even Bournemouth winning against Liverpool. But we did it as well. We beat Liverpool. We shouldn't have beaten them. And, so it's unfortunately, yeah, the thing about Scumchester 7-0, it didn't help us, Ray, did it? It didn't. What's the point in being great against them if you're going to be crap against Bournemouth? It doesn't help it. But Rodrigo, sorry, I'm looking at a comment that says Rodrigo. Bournemouth are scrapping, and they're Billing has all of a sudden found the scoring form of his life, so they are scrapping for their lives as well. Rodrigo was robbed of the pen. I thought so, And I was surprised that it wasn't looked at, but it's Leeds. But also, I was surprised that even on the replay, sorry, there was no replays shown of it either. So it was really hard to see. Give Jack a rest. Yeah. Were you surprised to see Harrison starting? I was shocked to see Jackie starting, to be honest. But we'll get to Jackie. We'll get to that in a few minutes. We'll talk about that in more detail. Same old defensive. Yep. Again. Yeah. Final third. Take a point. Yeah. Gonna have to. 1-5. 1-5 all season. Can't pass the ball to teammates. Harrison has to get dropped. Adams playing Rocket on into trouble. Yeah. I thought Rocket was good today, though, being honest. Kelt Swansea like you, Jer. Good, Mick. Good. Jack Harrison is better than Zidane, Messi, Ronaldo. See, this is the thing I'm going to say about Jack, and I'll just say this early. And the same goes for Pat Bamford. You score, it hides a lot of what you've done wrong. But that doesn't mean you should get away with a very poor performance from both players. Jack gets a goal and assist and looked like he's had a great game. He was in the periphery of the game for most of the first half and not involved defensively or attacking. Lost the ball way too often. Doesn't release the ball quick enough, except for the goal for Bamford. When he does release the ball quickly, he's a very effective player. And Paddy scores on his right foot. Why hasn't he shot with his right foot all season? Who knows? Maybe Paddy can answer that one for us. Second half, it's an OG by Jack. Why he doesn't clear it with his right foot, but he's all left-footed, so he goes to left. And then he's all left-footed, then he goes and whips one top corner with his right foot. Why not clear the ball with your right foot? So don't let a goal in this mask over issues with performances, because Somerville was poor. Jackie was poor, and Bamford in the first half was poor. Again, we'll get into that more details. I'm not going to get to all the comments because there's tons coming in here. So, look, obviously, first, thanks for watching. I really appreciate you watching. I just need to talk this out. This is my therapy today. I couldn't wait till tomorrow night. I had to do it now. We'll talk about, I'll try and dip in and out of the comments because there's just so many comments coming in. I actually can't keep up. Take a point. Yeah. If I haven't got your comments, I'm sorry. I really am, because I do want to talk to people today and see how you all feel about it. He has to start. I don't think he's going to. And let's talk about that. So we'll start off, right? First things first, I'm going to ignore comments for 5 minutes and then we'll have a chat, okay? Is that good? Start off with this. Brighton are a really good side. That's the first thing. They play lovely football, and Leeds started off with a passive press. Did I agree with the starting lineup that we started with? No, I thought it was a bold lineup. But then Garcia doesn't seem to be afraid to make big decisions. And I'm okay with that. No issue with that. Paddy starting instead of Rutter, fine. Horse for courses, needs to play, need an outlet striker, fine, does score, great. Willie Gnonto being on the bench. Now, I'm not sure if Gnonto's been punished for reactions to being taken off in the 2 games that he started under Garcia. I don't like players reacting like that. I don't like seeing people throwing their arms in the air when they're getting taken off. Or we saw what Pablo under Bielsa, it was the last thing he did on the Leeds when he took the captain's armband off, threw it on the ground, and Bielsa dropped him straight away. You can't react the way those players have reacted, and that's probably a problem. And I wonder, is that part of the reason why he's been dropped? Because for me, Chris Somerville isn't doing enough defensively. Luke Ayling in the first half looked terrible. And I don't think it was all his fault. These big balls over the top, very similar to the first half against Chelsea. But if you watch the game, Somerville isn't tracking Estupiñán, which means Ayling is trying to cover that gap between Estupiñán and Matoma to either cut out passes into Estupiñán. And then he gets caught with these big balls over top, and Cree's 10 yards too high. The same against Chelsea. He didn't defend, didn't do enough work defensively, and left Bill exposed. Second half today was much, much better, although the second goal does come down Bill's side. But it was better. And it was better in the second half. Somerville has to realise that he's 2 parts to his game. He can go forward with the ball, which he didn't do much of today, but he's got to come back and defend, and he's got to dig out his team. Defensively, he's got to be good. I'll bracket all of the criticism here on it's not a personal attack. I don't dislike these people. They're good players. They're all good players, but there is criticism there. So there's that part. The press itself is an interesting press. It's a passive mid-block, essentially, is what he's playing. And the interesting bit about it is it's a patient one that's designed to isolate the back 2 and the goalkeeper and to force a mistake, to rush them into kicking it long where you can win it back, or kicking it out of play, or a mistake on a touch and you nick it. And the first 10 minutes leads to 2 or 3 opportunities where we're just a little hair's breadth short of nicking the ball off the centre half and being in. Aronson, on a couple of, I thought Aronson was very good today as well. I'll probably get hanged for that, but I thought he was very good. And there's that, and it's going okay, and it's patient, and it's fine. You know, we're creating the odd chance, but nothing major, and then they score. And the goal for me is a problem, because the cross comes in from the left-hand side. Ferbo was excellent again today, so keep saying that. He was very good today. Comes in his side, no fault on him. It did, on the left. And Ailing's the one that's getting called out for the header back across the goal. But the issue for me is not the header. The player coming over the back is always going to have a bigger jump because you're jumping back and running back. You're not going to get the height. So the header from Matoma, fine. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it was Matoma. Back across, fine. Max Vober leaves McAllister and decides to cover the goal line instead of attacking the header. And then it's a tap-in for McAllister because Vober is on the goal line, which I thought was an unusual decision to make. So preventable goal to start. I thought people kind of Rocket. I thought Rocket was good. He was the only player we had forward passes today. I thought Adams doesn't help him with the passes he gives them at times. They're usually behind him. No issue that the goal is a soft goal. Then we get the goal. Jack wasn't in the game enough, wasn't doing enough. When we did get the ball, we were back to 17 touches, turn around, lose possession. That was first half an hour. That was Jackie. Pat Bamford spent the first half an hour waving his hands in the air. I'm back to this version of Bamford that annoys me, the one that keeps falling over when anyone brushes off of him, rolling around on the ground, looking for stuff that's not a free kick. And I hate seeing that. I don't like seeing Leeds players cheating and looking for stuff, and he did it a lot. And then the goal comes. It's a lovely ball inside from Jack. He does it early this time. He doesn't take 40 million touches. He just little one inside, and then Bamford gets a cracking right foot shot of it. Why he doesn't swing his right leg at the ball more often, I will never know. It does take a deflection and goes in, which is fine. And the two players kind of get off the hook a little bit at halftime. You know, Somerville, again, defensively and attackingly non-existent for me in the first half of the game, not doing enough. And the question for me is, why is Gnonto playing second fiddle to him if that's the performance level that's acceptable? What Garcia has said in the press conference afterwards was that it's very demanding to play against Brighton. He's pleased that how the players stuck to the plan. I think a couple of times went off script, which caused problems. He said he's not happy with how we attacked, and he said that we need to improve. We do. Gotta stop conceding 2 goals again. Back to that again. On Jack Harrison, he said that the quality that he has is out of doubt. For me, I think he's a very good player, he said. Now, the issue for me is, I keep saying this, Jack Harrison's a big game player and a big moment player. Today he came up with a big moment. I was scoring an OG, comes up with a very big moment to get us back in the game. But he doesn't do enough for 90 minutes. You know, defensively, he gives you an awful lot more than Somerville, but he's not involved in the game. He doesn't move the ball quick enough for me. Where Willie Gnonto is always looking for space. They're trying to move things quickly, and I like that about him. He said there was a deliberate plot not to press the keeper, to let the keeper have the ball. Exactly what we just said there a minute ago, that we want to wait for moments. And we did many things well. On Gnonto being on the bench, he said, I'm happy with Cree and Jack. I'd like to give more minutes to all the players, but I have to choose. He said it's a good point against a good side. For me, Cree hasn't done enough in the last 2 games to deserve a starting position. Gnonto's impact off the bench has been significantly higher than what Cree's doing at the moment. Cree has moments, as does Jack. They have moments, but you need 90 minutes from these players. Pat Bamford has moments, but you need 90 minutes of that game. And it wasn't enough there. I think if you look at the first half, patient press was fine. Our Brighton's biggest plus and the best way of scoring today was our passing out from the back. That was what gave them their chances, which is a problem. And it was a problem in the second half as well. Our first front three didn't do enough. When we had the ball, they weren't options. They were too easily marked. They did score, and that gets them away with it. Adams' passing is poor out of the back. I would rather see McKennie in that role, I think, because he can pass there. I don't want to see McKennie in the final third because that's where his passing is weak. But coming out from the back, he can find those short passes. I wrote down Somerville not defending Ailing. Ball over his head was crippling us, and that was partly because of bad position from Ailing, but also having to cover gaps that Somerville was leaving. And then the goal, Vober leaves McAllister. So it's a tricky one. Before I get to the second half, we'll nip back in. There's a ton of chat, guys. I'm really sorry that I can't get to all of these. I don't say anything. Kelly Harrison will be gone in the summer. I wonder, is it him that's not signed a new contract rather than Leeds putting it out there? There's rumours that he's one of a couple of players that has spoken to their agents about looking at a move if Leeds go down, but that's that's not confirmed yet or anything. Leeds today didn't give Brighton space at the back to build up. Great point. Yeah, well, Seamus not true. Yeah, and I agree with the at the back. 100% agree with that. I thought that was the press was fine. It did seem to frustrate everyone in the stadium because we're used to a more aggressive press. Commentator was saying at one point, Leeds were used to an aggressive, fast pressing style under Jesse Marsh, while at the same time saying the fans are complaining about this passive press. I was like, yeah, but the fans didn't like the aggressive press from Jesse either. So, there's that. Harrison must have a real pit together contract, guaranteeing him lots of minutes. Yeah, I wonder if he got something on Victor. Jerry Kelly, tough game. Could have easily been 4-1 down. Yeah, take the point. Yeah. Simon, don't take enough care of the ball, pass and shock, and Ailing roasted all day. Adams marking, dunk at set piece. I saw that as well. I thought, what a crazy decision. Now, luckily, Adams is aggressive, was pushing him an awful lot, so he couldn't get on the end of anything. But great show, Simon. Great show. Rob Gill, at least we scored 3 today. I'll get given out there for laughing after a point, we do have better players. Use them, Javi. I agree. Somerville doesn't work hard enough. Yeah, has the skill. Yeah. Again, Paul, nail on the head. Absolute nail on the head. To be honest, I thought we'd lose today. So did I. I thought it could have been heavy as well, but I'm glad it wasn't. Big clear at the end of the season, no matter what division we're. Again, yeah, agree. If Somerville's not helping Ailing out, put Aronson on. Yeah, it's a good show. Again, Scott. Sorry, Scott. Leaving McKenny to occupy the space in mind. Yeah, I agree. Good show. Another good show. Like my brothers, Mark 2 West cards. Total. Jack doesn't look like the same player. His energy levels are not there. Look, there's a lot of pressure on him, and I get that. Enzo, problem is when we used to press all in, we got picked off, and we did in the second half. That was prevalent second half as well. When we did start going for it, there was gaps between the lines. Welbeck's unlucky not to get on the end of one. There's a couple of chances around the back of Ailing. We really are committing him forward. Right back positions probably a concern going into next season. Luke looks tired towards the end of the games. He's been asked to do a huge amount of work with some of it. He doesn't get any protection. Maybe that's why you understand why Harrison does play sometimes on the right hand sate, because he does defensively give you a little bit more than Cree, and he's covering Firpo really well at the moment. That's the positive of Jackie. He's defending quite well, or at least occupying the fullback so he can't get forward, which I'm happy enough with that. Thank goodness Bamford. I'm going to say this again. He doesn't get off the hook of a bad performance because he scored a goal that took a deflection. He doesn't. You can't let somebody away that. He's got to do better holding the ball up. He's got to be more involved in the game. He can't keep falling around and rolling around the ground looking for free kicks when the team is trying to get forward. Being out the corner flag, getting touches on the ball. That's not what you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be in the box. Like, it's great that he scored. I'm delighted that he scored. And I want Paddy back to his best scoring goals. I really do want that. But we can't ignore a poor performance from certain players just because they score a goal. It's not his only job. There is other parts to that game, but I'll take the slap on the wrist, Urban Spaceman. I will take the slap on the wrist for that. Rodrigo was in pre-injury form. We could have had at least one. Yeah, he looked a bit rusty when he came on. The first touch was a bit rusty. If you look at the second half stuff, and there's more positive in the second half than the first half. I thought we started really, really well in the second half. I thought we pressed really, really well. And then Brighton scored. And that was the end of that. That was the problem. We were in a good position at that time. We were creating chances. Aronson had a couple of missed near chances. Great save from the goalkeeper at one point from an Aronson shot that was dribbling into the bottom left-hand corner, which was a lovely strike. And again, I thought that Aronson had a good game today. I thought he was dangerous. Slow say, Steve. Jer will be linking up with Benjamin Bloom. Look, we didn't get part. Yeah, I know. Bamford needs 50 shots to score one. That's been the case the entire time he's been there under Bielsa. He got a lot more chances to score, so he did. Other stuff in the second half, we were really open at the back for counterattacks once we had to go and get that second goal. Luckily, we didn't get picked off, and we could have. We really could have. Better teams would pick us off today, even though Brighton are a decent side. The same issues in the second half with our passing out from the back. It just seemed to me that if Brighton were going to score, it was either nicking the ball off us, passing the ball out from the back, or getting in behind Ailing, which was the same against Chelsea. Very similar to Chelsea. Rodrigo did look rusty when he came on, makes some great runs. I'm delighted to see him back at the park, but you could see that first touch just gets away from a couple of times where pre-injury Rodrigo probably scores them first time. Harrison's goal with the right foot. Why didn't he clear the ball with the right foot? That's what I wrote down there. And Nanto and Firpo, when Nanto came on, I thought Nanto and Firpo's link-up play was excellent. I've been very critical of Firpo's defensive capabilities this year, but it's very clearly a system error and not a player error, so I take that on the chin. What I'll say about Firpo today is he defended really, really well when he had to. He was physical when needed. Didn't wait until the 80th minute to get his yellow card, so I'm all right with that as well. But I thought him and Nanto together looked really good. They complement each other quite well. Nanto will go inside and give Firpo the space on the outside. Or when Nanto does go on the outside, Firpo's clever enough to go on the inside. So he's been excellent under Garcia. Probably one of our better players under Garcia so far. I think better players looking at the game-wise, I thought Rocket was fine. I thought in the first half, especially, he was the one that was creating the balls into the front end, which we've lacked from midfield over the last couple of weeks. I thought Willie, when he came on, was great. I thought Firpo had a really good game as well. The back two were okay. They were okay. But again, I thought at times they were overly exposed. So it's a tricky one. Thankfully, Welbeck didn't score. No, he didn't. Graham, the manager, tells you everyone. Yeah. Well, that's well, we are decent point for 19th. Decent point in the context, ST, as it could have been no points. Context. But we need a win against Wolves now. That's where the pressure now comes from. Who else have we got? Jake. Brighton were funny playing from the back towards Ayling. Yeah, good tactic. And I think it was because they noticed Creed doesn't track back. And it does leave Ayling exposed one-on-one. And Mitoma's a really good player. Like, that's a quality player they brought in there. And Estupiñán as a fullback is brilliant. I really like the two of them. They're dangerous. So Bill had a tough day in his hands. And I'd say he'd be sore going home tonight, and he'll feel it tomorrow. We've lost our bites and stuff. I don't agree we've lost our bite. I think in general we scored twice. Again, we're scoring, but we're conceding, and we can't. The problem with Leeds this season has been we can't do one without the other. We can't score goals and keep a clean sheet, and we can't keep a clean sheet. If we keep a clean sheet, we can't score. So that's the problem. It's that middle bit that's missing. Fairbo, amazing chance for change from him. To be fair, yeah, he's been great. Enzo, he's been really, really good. Not a pass to start. Yeah, I agree, but I don't think he will. Senior Firpo. Some of them needs to go back to 21s. He's got quality. He does. But the same issue I had with him when he first came in, Somerville came into the first team, was he needs to do more in the pitch. You're playing Premier League football. You can't just walk around and wait for the ball to come to you. You're too easy to mark. You're too easy to tackle. You're too soft in the tackle. You've got to work harder to find space. Nanto does that. He finds pockets of space. He comes deep looking for the ball. At the very end, Rodrigo made a run from attack all the way back to the edge of Leeds box to nick a ball off one of their players who's got a striker on the edge of the box. That's the work rate that's expected from you. And Somerville just doesn't do enough of that. And it's great because when he did nothing, he only go in the park for a minute. Somerville just needs to do more because the quality is there, and if he does more work off the ball, he'll get more space and he'll be more creative, and that's where that comes from. So, poor City standing on the sideline for 5 minutes before he gets on for. Did he even touch the ball? At least he was on the pitch. Got to win away next. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Paul. Yeah. They went against us, but they also didn't. If you look at the bottom, there's now only a point between a ton of teams down there at the bottom. It's really tight. West Ham in the bottom 3 now. Leicester dropping like a stone. Palace dropping like a stone. Forest have what's happened to Forest since they beat us. Yeah, Jared, I don't like the for subs doesn't change it up. Graham, I thought we had a really good bench today, but I think the changes were not all the correct changes. I mean, Jackie scores, but I still would have taken him off before he scored. I think everyone was looking for him to be taken off before he scored. Again, just not doing enough, but he does score. Only lost by more than 2 goals once this season, an improvement in previous. Yeah, but we've got to stop conceding 2 goals again. That's the problem. We've only lost by more than 2 goals. We're still conceding 2 goals in every game. We're averaging 2 goals per game concession, that's relegation. That's a problem. That's the area we need to tidy up. But we also need to score at the same time. We can't do both, as I keep saying. Why bring Sinis down for 2 to 4 minutes? I think the plan was to bring Sinis there on for the entire 5 minutes of injury time. And then 2 corners happened and he didn't get on until the last minute. I think they were hoping for a counter-attack at that point, put him at the top, and then if we get a break, let him run. But Tom went past Ayling so easy for 9 seconds. Yeah. But again, it's an entire match of Ayling being doubled up on. But I agree with you. Too easy. What was the must win? Probably is. I think our outlook is dire already. Teams around us winning at home games. Not everyone is. West Ham didn't win today. Leicester didn't win today. Nottingham Forest didn't win today. They all lost. Everton and Bournemouth got out of it by getting a win. We've got a game. We've got to play Nottingham Forest and Ellen Road. You beat them. We're out. We're ahead of them. They're dropping back down. It's super tight. I'm not overly concerned about the 19th position because there's so few points in it. And we did pick up a point today. You can view it as a drop point probably, but it's still something. It's not nothing. Cheers, Liam. Appreciate that. Would be good to see what the I like that. Very good. We got Bamford was Leeds' best player. He won the battle in the centre of the park. I disagree completely. I didn't think he was. If you watch the first half an hour, he spends the whole time lying on the ground, rolling around looking for stuff, desperately poor until he scores. And then after that, he's having the corner flag most of the game. Aronson I thought was very, very good. Yeah. But the thing what we'll say about this is what we get from Bamford in terms of hold of play is fair enough. We do get that. But at times he doesn't do enough. Again, same complaint. Just certain players didn't work hard enough for me today. That's my only complaint. There's a lot of positives there as well, though. We did do some things well. We did create 2 good chances. We did score 2 good goals. We're going to rely on other teams to help us out. This is an interesting comment, Rich, because I've heard this from loads of people, and it's one I would have been guilty of saying myself. There isn't a team in the Premier League that isn't hoping on somebody else to do them a favour. Arsenal are hoping on every other team to do them favours to stop Man City catching them. Man City are hoping on teams to do them a favour against Arsenal so they can catch Arsenal. Man United the same. Liverpool the same. Teams down around us all the same. At this point of the season, everyone is looking at everybody else to take points off the teams that are around them to give them a dig out to get up. So everyone's in that boat, unfortunately. It's a stressful part of the season. Still feeling positive. The table doesn't look good. Yeah, not over yet. Keep fighting. Yeah, I think we will. We will. And Paul, again, as I said, if you look at the points and not the positions, there's nothing in it. There really isn't anything in it. We 5 wins last season. Didn't buy a striker. Didn't buy a striker for now. Bought a striker for the future, but we didn't buy one for now. Yeah, won't talk about Rads today. Whatever division we're in next year, we need a major clear. Everyone's saying that, and I'm tending to agree. Yavi said he's getting the balance, which is very difficult to agree about. Somerville, thanks, mate. And yeah, it's going to take him time. Starting to think the team are just not good enough. There's a possibility that we just haven't got a good enough team to be higher than we are. There is a possibility of that. Like at some point, you've got to go. Maybe we think they're better than they are, but I don't know. I'm not 100% convinced that again. I'm not even convinced of my own points. Let's be honest. Thanks, Ross. NJ, I think Garcia has been protecting Nanto. His aggression levels are getting. He was getting involved in everything, and so was Adams and so was McKennie. That needed to stop because they're picking up stupid yellow cards. Still see Adams rocket and pivot McKennie. Yeah. 5 games, 5 wins. Yeah, we're all pretty much in the same boat. We will. Goodwill. Yeah, that's nice, Mick. Perkins and JB. I like JB. I've seen a lot of him, and I think he looks great. But yeah, so look. West Bam didn't play today, Jay Ray. Yeah, look, it's a frustrating game in a lot of ways. We are down to 19, but Bournemouth and Everton getting out, but we're not dead by any stretch of imagination. West Ham are, as I said, down there with us. It would be nice to see us keep a clean sheet and get a win. We did it against Southampton, and I'm all for 1-0 wins. I love a 1-0. I'm all for that at the end of the season. This style of play that we're going to play is going to frustrate fans because it's not going to be an out-and-out attacking system. Javi has said he's not happy with how we attacked in the second half, and that's going to be an area that we need to improve. But I mean, I took so many notes today just watching the game, and second half I took a hell of a lot less. The goals we conceded were preventable. Their individual errors again. Some of our better players look a bit more stressed today. The normal Vobert that looked a bit more stressed than he has done. Cock the same. They've been great the last couple of weeks, and we just need to get away from this having to score because we've conceded. Who played better than Bamford? Who played better than Bamford? Firpo played better than Bamford. Nanto when he came on played better than Bamford. Who else? Roca I thought was better than Bamford. Yeah. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying about his hold to play. I agree with you on that. I think his hold to play is very, very good. You also said Zayden deserved a contract extension. Lol. Yeah, well, what? Because of one bad game? He's been called out as one of the best players we've had for the last couple of weeks, and you think he doesn't deserve a contract on that? We're not exactly blessed with senior experienced players here, and he's one of them. He got a 1-year extension. What's the rush for kicking players out of the club? What's the story with that? We have a bunch of kids here who need experienced players around them who can dig us out of this problem. Bill was fantastic in both games against Manchester United. He was very good last week against Chelsea in the second half. Again, same issue in the first half. Chris Somerville isn't defending in front of him. He's got zero support. None at all. So, yeah, he did get a 1-year contract, and yeah, he did deserve it. So, I don't back down on that, mate. So that's an interesting comment. I'd like to see how we do if we kick all the experienced players out of the club and just go with the kids. That would be an interesting one to see us drop like an absolute rock if that was to happen. So I disagree completely on that. George Graham, specialty, boring 1-0. Time and place for it, though, isn't there? And this is the time and place for it, I think. Less stress. Firpo was destroyed. You're having a laugh. I don't know what game you were watching, pal. I really don't know what game you were watching. Jesus Christ. Yeah, fine. All right, move on. Ailing would be good to keep around for next year. There you go. Thanks, Matt. There you go. I'm not the only one. May need him in the championship. Very good point. JB and Perkins aren't and shouldn't be the answer. I think they are an answer at some point in the future, but we can't be in a rush to get the young players into the team straight away. We need experience. The issues with Somerville today are, again, that age and that maturity that's needed to get you out of trouble. And it wasn't there at times. So Harrison, Bamford and Ailing are the problem. And when they leave, we will improve only if we replace with better players. And again, I wouldn't be in a rush to get them all out of the club. I would be like to see us get a bit more strength and depth in positions. We have this habit of Leeds getting rid of players and not bringing in any replacements. Like we did the same with Alioski. Couldn't wait to get Alioski out of the club. Then when he was gone, we had Firpo playing in a very bad period of form with him. And we were screaming to get Alioski back. So, yeah. KG said it as well. Just not as bad as Aidan was. I don't care what KG says. That's not my opinion. And if your opinion is KG's, form your own opinion. Watch your own games. We're dropping like a rock, Jer. Again, ignore the position for me. Look at the points. The one win and you're 15th. One win and you're 15th. Again, results have to go away, and I get that, but Eddie might be great, but there's no better options. There isn't. There really isn't a better option than him at the moment. That's a problem. That's a signing problem. That's a club issue. That's not getting better players. Maybe Cody Drama was the issue, was the solution. I don't think he is. Maybe he is next year, the year after, but he's still young. Again, it's having experienced players and having kids to replace them. We didn't bring in players for now. We brought players in for 2-3 years in the future and hoped it would work. We tried the Arsenal model without getting the same quality level of players that Arsenal got. It doesn't work. It really doesn't work. We had to win the game. It looked like we were pressing, but our press was poor. It's a passive press. The idea of the press, again, is to cause them to kick it long or make a mistake. I didn't have an issue with it, but when you're 1-0 down, it's a frustrating press to watch, and I get that, and I completely agree with that. But there is a reason for it. Ailing always tries, they have going forward, pushing gets caught, no real protection. Yeah, very tricky position to play. Of course it is. There's a logical answer. It is. You're asking him to get up and down the park. He's not a young player either, and he's got zero protection in front of him. Look how few times the first half Sinistera comes back to help him defend. And look how many times it's a stupid Nyan that's running past Ailing, who's the fullback, not the winger, who's going past him. Same last week against Chelsea. It was Chilwell who was overlapping on Ailing, not the winger. So again, where's the cover from the winger who's supposed to be marking the fullback? Not there. That's the issue there. Yeah, that's a huge positive, getting two of them back on the pitch and getting minutes. Bamford plays better when he's got competition. When Rodrigo's been fit, Bamford's played better. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing to look going forward. A couple of wins in this and we're out. Yeah, and they've got them. Thanks, Dave. Drama to come back next season. Hopefully he comes back and plays the way he's playing for Luton right now. Yeah, fingers crossed he can step up to the level. I would have taken the job for this game. I would 4 points from the two. This and Wolves, 4 points. So yeah, I can do that. Do you think we have a chance? I do. I think we have a glimmer, yeah. I don't think it's dead yet. The young players in the team already, Nanto City, Ariston, they're still very young, and they're lacking that maturity, and that at times that shows. At times, not all the time, at times. Well, saw bits of watch along. We will move on at UFC. Part of these problems, young players playing, you want them coming in and making an impact, and you want to protect them, and you want to give them experience around. We just didn't bring any experience in. McKennie is the experience we brought in, and we put him on the bench today. Sorry, Edding's been great the last few weeks. Yeah, again, thanks. Only 7 points between 12th and bottom. Exactly. Huge April. April is massive. April for me will be the one that either gets us out of trouble or confirms that we're down. That's the month. That's it. Because May is 3 tough games back to back. So I think April is going to be huge. And there's winnable games in May. And if we can get this so that Javi is trying to get right now, by then we could be okay. Rodrigo's fitness could be the difference. He needs to get sharp, and that's going to take time. That's a problem. A little bit rusty today. I always support Alioski. Yeah, and I had no problem with that, mate. I was the same. I thought Alioski was the thing. The thing with the players with Ailing on this as well. Just I don't want to double down on you, mate. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to explain a point. I would have no issue with us keeping Alioski and bringing in a better left back, and then you've got two players in that position that can compete for that position. If one's out, you've got another player that can step in and do a job. Same in the right back position, except we don't have that in the right back position. Christensen struggled this year adapting to the Premier League. He really has struggled in that position, so you can't bring in, and there seems to be a reluctance from the manager to bring him in, and Jesse had lost faith with him as well, so there's a reluctance there to bring him in. Cody Drama is out on loan, and even 3 managers now haven't played him. I've got 2. The third one we'll find out in the summer. So it's that balance of experience. So I wouldn't be in a rush to get Ailing out of the club. Keep him there. Bring in a better, more experience than we've got right back with a better standard. 26, 27, 28-year-old. Then you've got a good balance. I just don't think we should rush players out of the club just yet. I think we should be, certain players we need to keep around. Balancing experience needed, and we don't have that. Toffee TV will be happy tonight. Don't watch them. It's going to come down to our games against Forest, Palace, Leicester, Bournemouth. That is exactly it. You've got there, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 points. What are we on now? 23? 15 get us out of it. 33? It's tight. You're probably going to need a couple of draws as well. At least we didn't lose. Correct, Bruce. Correct. We didn't. I like the strategy. We took the ball away. You got a handful of times. Yeah. I didn't have an issue with the setup. It's not attractive, and it's not... Sorry, and it is going to be frustrating. But I don't have an issue with it. I think it's the right way to do. We just got to stop conceding silly, sloppy goals. And the first goal is preventable. Vober stays with McAllister. He probably clears the ball. We cut the cross out in the first place. Probably doesn't get across to the back post to Ailing's side. And, that doesn't happen. So, see the argument between Watson and Weston and Firpo. I saw them complaining, and I also saw that Firpo seemed to then ultimately agree with what Weston was saying to him. He kind of went and put his head down. You can kind of say whatever Weston said to him, pointed at. That seems to be that. Players should be arguing with each other. They should be pushing each other. Should be driving each other. So, hold each other accountable. We didn't change the press during the game. Brighton knew exactly what was coming. But the press was just designed to send them long. And then when we had to chase the game, the press kind of falls apart then. Bill's best right back in the club at the moment. Nobody better for the job. Yeah. Thanks all. Yeah. Mick, good shit, mate. Keep us positive, Mick. We do need to win at home games. Fans, yeah. Well, the ref wasn't too bad today. I thought you let the game flow. Penalty, possibly. I wanted Alioski gone, and I was wrong. It's okay. Our youngsters are or will be very good. Yes, correct. They're going to be great. But the problem with the club was they didn't bring anyone in for now. CD was voted by Cardiff fans was the best. Who's CD? Cody Drama. Yeah. Yeah. Was he voted by the Cardiff fans or was he voted by the Leeds fans to be their best? Because that was an open poll and he won pretty comfortably. Look, he's doing really well at Luton. He did really well at Cardiff. Whether he can step up to the Premier League, you've got to ask why Bielsa didn't favour him and why Marsden didn't favour him as well. There's two managers there. If he comes in the summer and gets played, and if he comes in the summer and you see Garcia not play him, then you've got to ask why three managers have the same opinion. It could change in the summer, but Cody update from my neighbour who goes to Luton, plays well for 67 minutes to get subbed. Yeah, and that's just probably conditioning. To be honest, most of our players look knackered after 60 minutes as well. With tactics today, Brighton would have smashed us. I agree. There's a bit of structure there. So Fernando the boy, he can do the work. He wants to work. Must let him work. Yeah. We were promised that Javi would let him off take the chains off him. And he seems to put more chains on him and stuck him on the bench. And get zero help defending against quality two winger. Yeah, 22 game against Ailing. It was depth. I agree. Yeah, I agree. You got to look at more. Nigeria 406 in Brisbane. Tim, sleep well. Thanks for watching. This team not good enough. Parts of it are good. Came from behind twice, shows character. It does. And that's going to be massive coming into the end of the season. Whether we can dig ourselves out. We did it last year and we showed it. See if we can do it again. It's a lot to ask 2 years in a row. That takes a toll on you. It does wipe out players. The fatigue is huge with that. Tightest relegation battle in years, just to say, folks. Yeah. Relland Road's going to be massive. We need Javi Garcia getting results and Hampton win, Brighton draw. He has my back end, same as 18 PMS. Folks, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks to everyone that's watched. As always, if you like the channel, you can subscribe and support me that way. I will be back on Monday for some Leeds news. Won't be here tomorrow because it's Sunday, but I'll be back on Monday with the news. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody. Thanks for dropping in and helping me with my Leeds United therapy today. I'm not sure what's going on tomorrow night. There's probably a final word on Just Joe's show. I'm not sure if I'm on it yet or not, but I will confirm that on the community tab on this page if I am. If you want to have more talk about the same thing, we can do that tomorrow. We can do that tomorrow night. If I'm not on it, go watch it anyway. It's a good panel there, and there's always a good discussion. So go support the guys. Thanks as always. Safe home if you're traveling home when you're watching this. If you're at home watching this, enjoy the rest of your weekend. And as a friend of mine says, do something positive in the next 20 minutes. Hug someone you love. Pet your dog. Do something nice. Cheer yourself up and go out for a walk. Leeds will put us all in the early grave. We can try and enjoy the little bits. There's a lot of positives to take from today. The gap is closing. It's tighter at the bottom. It's tighter. We can get out of this. We can get out of this. We can get out of this. And we will. God willing, get out of this. Yeah. We're all good. Have a great day. Have a great evening. Enjoy your Sundays. See you Monday. Bye.